For this tutorial, you will need some worsted weight yarn, a 4.25mm hook, some stitch markers, measuring tape, and some scissors. Okay, let's get started. First, we're going to start with a slip knot. Then we're going to make a chain. For an AB cup, I would chain 13. For a C cup, chain 18. For a D cup, chain 20. For a double D cup, chain 22. I'm an AB cup, so I'm going to chain up 13. Now we're going to make an HDC into the second chain from the hook, and in each chain until you get to the last chain. Now we're going to work 3 HDC into that last chain. Okay, now you're going to take your stitch marker and you're going to mark the middle HDC you made out of the three HDCs you made. And we're going to continue making an HDC in each stitch on the opposite side. Okay, you should have the same amount of stitches on each side. So I had 12 on each side plus the one middle stitch. So I had a total of 25. You're going to chain 1, turn your work, and work an HDC in each HDC until you get to your stitch marker. Okay, now we're going to work 3 HDC into the HDC where you had your stitch marker. And you're going to place your stitch marker in the middle HDC of the 3 HDCs you just made. And you're going to work the opposite side, so you're going to work 1 HDC in each HDC into the end of the row. you're going to continue this process until you have the desired width you need. For me, I am a 34A, so I was going to make my cup size the width of 5 inches. So for 5 inches, you're a 32A, 34A, 32B. For 6 inches in width, you're going to be a 36A, 34B, 36B, 32C, 34C, 32D. For 7 inches, 36C, 32D, 34D, 36D, 32 double D, and 8 inches for 36D or larger. Now you're going to measure your cup from side to side to make sure it measures the width that you need. Mine is 5 inches, so that's perfect. If you need a larger cup size, just increase each row by 2 HDC. Now we're going to fasten off. And to make our bralette, we're going to make one more cup. So you're going to just repeat those steps one more time. Once you are done with both of your cups, we are going to start working on the body band. So for an extra small, you are going to chain 58. For a medium large, you're going to chain 65. And for an extra large, you're going to chain 79. So I'm an extra small, so I'm going to chain 58. Once you're done with your chain, you are going to DC in the second chain from the hook. So for me, I will have 57 DCs at the end. If you are a medium large, you should have 64 DCs, and if you're an extra large, you should have 78 DCs. Once you're done with row 1, you're going to chain 2, turn your work. Chain 2 does not count as a stitch. And then you're going to DC in the next 2 DCs. Chain 2, skip 2 DCs, and then work 1 DC in the next 5 DC. Chain 2, skip 2 DC, and work 1 DC in each of the next 5 DCs. Now you're going to repeat those 2 steps until you get to the end of your row. Okay, before you get to your last 5 DC cluster, you're actually only going to be working 3 DC. So you should be left with 3 DC at the end of your second row. Chain 4. Turn your work and work 4 DC in the chain 2 space. chain 2, and work an additional 4 DC in that same chain 2 space. Chain 1, and work 4 DC in the next chain 2 space. Chain 2, and work an additional 4 DC in the same chain 2 space. Chain 1, and you're going to repeat the same step until you get to the end of the row. Chain 1, and you're going to end the row with a DC in the last chain 2 space that you made from the previous row. Chain 4, turn your work, and work 4 DC in the chain 2 space. Chain 2, and work an additional 4 DC in that same chain 2 space. Chain 2, work 4 DC in the next chain 2 space. Chain 2, and work an additional 4 DC in the same chain 2 space. Chain 2, and you're just going to repeat these steps until you get to the end of the row. Chain 1, and work 1 DC in the chain 4 space from the previous row. Fasten off. And now you are done with your body band. So now we need to attach your bralette cups to the body band. To do this, we're going to fold our body band in half, and we're going to take our stitch marker and we're going to mark the middle stitch. After you marked it, I would just count the stitches, make sure they're the same on each side. And then you're going to take another stitch marker and you're going to count out 3 stitches from your stitch marker and you're going to mark it. If you want a smaller gap on your top, I would just count out 2 stitches. And then you're just going to do the same on the other side. So count out 3 stitches from the middle stitch marker and mark it. Okay, now we're going to take our first cup and we are going to attach it to the body band. So we're going to wrong side facing up. We're going to line our cup up against the last stitch marker, and we're going to use slip stitch to attach. So we're going to take our hook and we're going to go through the stitch where you had your stitch marker, and we're going to go through the first stitch on our cup and we're going to pull through, and then we're going to chain 1, and then we're just going to slip stitch through each stitch through your body band and your cup to attach. You don't have to use slip stitch to attach. You can also use a needle and thread and just do a whip stitch. It's whatever you prefer. So, but I like the slip stitch. I find this way the easiest. Okay, once you're done, you're going to fasten off. Okay, now we're going to take our other cup and we're going to repeat the same process on the other side. Wrong side facing up. We are going to attach our yarn to the first stitch on our cup, and we are going to attach it to where you placed your stitch marker, your first stitch marker. And you're going to attach using slip stitch or whatever you prefer, whip stitch or any other method. Once you're done attaching your cups, we're going to create the side of the band. This band is the band that will be going around your waist. So we're going to attach it to the first chain space, chain 1, work 2 HDC in that chain space, work 2 HDC in the next chain space, work 2 HDC in the next chain space, and then work one more HDC in the last stitch. Chain one, turn your work, and then work one HDC in each HDC across. And you're going to continue doing this same row until you reach your desired length. It needs to reach the middle of your back. Okay, once you're done, you're going to fasten off. I made a total of 9 HDC rows. Okay, now we're just going to do the same thing on the other side. Once you are done, we're going to make a separate chain to close up the back. So I made a chain of 175. And then we're going to take that chain and weave in and out of the side band. And I'll show you how to do that. Once you're done weaving in and out, you're just going to make a simple bow. Okay, now we're going to work on our straps. So we're going to attach our yarn to the middle stitch at the top of our cup. And we're going to chain 75. Okay, turn and slip stitch in each chain all the way down. And then you're going to secure it with a slip stitch. Fasten off. Okay, now we're going to work on our other strap, repeating the same exact steps. Once you are done with your second strap, you're done with your top. You just have to weave in all the ends. I hope you guys enjoyed this tutorial. Please make sure to follow, comment, like, and share. Thank you so much.